Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. I'm Kate from Kate and Jimbo, and it is a pre-match pump-up. Who cares about the Carabao Cup anyway? We don't really want to win it. It's all about the FA Cup today, and we are away at Villa Park against Aston Villa. I am joined, as always, by my other half, my beloved Jimbo, Jose from El Tel Cockerel, and Mr. Chain from Spurs Diehards. Jimbo, first of all, how you feeling?
Yeah, all right, darling. Thank you. Had a nice dinner, so I'm all full up.
Good. Got to set you up with a nice dinner. Can't have you moaning you're hungry all the way through the stream. So nice roast beef dinner, been demolished. Jose, how are you? How are you feeling today?
I'm all good, but I was also cooking a roast roast beef, and the oven popped. And now there's no heat coming out of the oven. So I've got my wife and my children looking for a new oven.
Ouch.
So we can purchase one straight after this finishes.
See, I did mine in my slow cooker today. I did a slow cook roast beef that was on for about 5 or 6 hours, and it was amazing. But that's a bit
other than that, yeah, I'm all right. I'm good, and I'm happy to see you three lovely people on screen, and I'm happy to see everyone that's watching in the chat.
Yes, indeed. Big up to everyone watching in the chat. And Mr. Chang, the smiliest person on YouTube. How are you doing?
Trying to cap off the weekend on the best possible way. Any Spurs fan would want us to, end on a high. And while it's not been the best of weekends leading into this, coming off our defeat in the second leg of the semi-finals of the League Cup, but nonetheless, we still have an away cup tie to look forward to at Villa Park. I believe the lineups should be announced in 36 minutes time, I believe. And absolutely looking forward to this pre-match pump-up with you, Miss Kate, Mr. Boxel, and last but not least, Senor Garcia. I really wish that the team, the players, especially themselves, they had a good, hard, long look at themselves after that defeat to Liverpool at Anfield. Yes, granted, Liverpool had the extra day's rest and they were playing at home, but there's no excuse really for just throwing in the towel the way we did. So hopefully we will be making up for it later this evening against Villa at Villa Park, and absolutely looking forward to this show. Back to you, Miss Kate.
I've got to say a massive big up to Sean Daniel watching us in Barbados. Not jealous at all here, as I've had to come upstairs and get a jump on because I'm frigging freezing. But yeah, big up. Yeah, I know. Big up to everyone, wherever you're watching. We've got Leo in, as always, watching from Colorado. So, yeah, wherever you're watching in the world, thank you so much for joining us. It is the only place to be for a pre-match pump-up, if I do say so myself. But, obviously, we're coming into this game. It's very hard to try and be pumped up after watching the Liverpool game. When was it? Was it midweek or was it last week? I can't even remember when it was. Midweek, Thursday, yes. And how lackluster and dreadful that was. It was that bad, I've forgotten when it was. But we will do our best to try and pump you up as much as we can. Jose, obviously it's been a few days since that game. Have you reflected on it? I mean, do you think, I personally said that I'm not sure if the players are playing for Ange, and was the counter argument of that was, I don't think that's true. I think it was just purely they're a different class to us. What's your thoughts on how that game went against Liverpool?
I say to everybody, and I say to what doesn't know me, for me, I can detach myself straight after a game. So win, lose, draw. I'm pretty good to analyse the game straight away as it's happened and as it's finished. And usually if I have to reflect the following day, usually what I thought or my thoughts straight after the game are exactly what they are the day after. It was a really abject performance against Liverpool. It's a performance that you don't know where it came from because it's a semi-final of a cup. For a lot of these players, they've not been to a semi-final for a long time themselves, let alone with Tottenham. And what happened on Thursday night is inexcusable. Too many people were off their game on Thursday night, and with a lot of people being off their game, it meant that there was players that had to cover for other players, and they had to do 2-3 man jobs. You know, some of the players. I felt happy in Danso play. I thought the 4 defenders, because the defence I called out for in the pump up show, and I thought defence can come out with some of it, and you'd say, but we lost 4-0. But the goals I felt that we conceded, I think, were more down to, apart from Kinski's one, I think the rest of them were down to mistakes that were made from players other than defenders. So it'd be interesting to see what happens today. I'm looking for us. Put it this way: I never want to lose a game of football. Right? End of story. I don't want to lose a game of football. However, if I am going to lose a game of football, I want to. If you lose, you go down fighting as you lose, not with a whimper like we did on Thursday. And that was just awful. And that's why the fan base feels the way it does, is because of such an abject performance on Thursday evening. I'm hoping today that we come out with some oomph. Win, draw, lose. I want us to come out with some oomph and play for the badge, play for the shirt, and go out there.
Yeah, and Plymouth doing what we couldn't do and scoring against Liverpool. To be fair, I know there is a few players missing, but oh my God, come on. As Jim said, this will be just another stick people used to beat us with if Plymouth were to knock out Liverpool.
Can I say, just about the Plymouth Liverpool game, right? Yesterday, who played yesterday? Leighton Orient played Man City, and Man City made changes, and that's a Division 1 team, League 1 team. And Man City made changes, but not that many, and they got past Leighton Orient. Newcastle made slightly more changes than Man City and got past Birmingham. Liverpool, they're playing a team from a league higher above in Plymouth in the Championship, and Liverpool made like 8. They put 8 kids in their team.
Yeah,
so
they're so good. But you know, it is what it is. Chang, Aston Villa have won just one of their last 6 games against Tottenham in the FA Cup, where Spurs have won 9 of their last 10 away games against Aston Villa in all competitions. Is this a case of, yes, we're going to do it, or Dr. Tottenham is going to strike again and the stats are all going to go out the window? How are you feeling? Are you confident?
I think the only way to address this is to go for the former rather than the latter. And I'm not going to be all, pessimistic regardless of the outcome. Despite the form book, despite those stats you threw out earlier, our FA Cup record against Villa and Villa's record against us in the same competition. And just like what Senor Garcia said earlier, he wants us to win. I want us to win all the time. I don't think anyone in their right mind wants to lose a game of football. And the players themselves, I felt for the most part, they were playing for Ange in midweek. But again, it could be, there are so many ways of looking at how we lost in midweek. And that could be down to our injuries, the fact that we are playing our 3rd away competitive match in the space of a week since our away win against Brentford last Sunday. So a lot of these factors, when you add it all up, and to make matters worse, I believe we've already surpassed the total cumulative number of games we've played last season compared to this season. Last season, at about this stage, we've already played the same number of games as we've had last season as we have now. So that in itself is a factor. But regardless of that form book and also of our history, our statistics against Villa in the FA Cup, I still want us to win. I still fully expect us to win. And I cannot wait to see the team lineup that Big Ange is going to put out. I know it's going to be a very strong team. And hopefully, Thursday was just a preview of what to expect from the likes of Kevin Nanso and Matthias Tell. And I so hope to see Bergvall, because it was just too little too late when Bergvall came on. Same could be said for Mikey Moore. So yeah, they have a lot to make up for. And they have a lot of fans to sort of, get us back over their side. But let's forget about Liverpool. All eyes focus and attention are now turned towards Villa at Villa Park. Come on, you Spurs. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Yeah, indeed. Jimbo, Sonny's come up for a lot of criticism, rightly so, this year. But in the Premier League era, Son's been involved in more. That shouldn't be moral. That should be more FA Cup goals than any other Spurs player, with 14 goals and 12 assists. Only Kane and Jermaine Defoe have scored more in this competition with 15 each. Look, there's a lot of people, and I understand it, saying that Sonny's washed and that we shouldn't have given him an extension and it was purely for money and it was purely for this and that, and I get it. But he has been known to do this before, Sonny, and we all slag him off and then he comes back and proves it's all wrong. What's your thoughts on Sonny? Can he do the business today?
Look, let's stop making excuses, right? We've got a lot of injuries, yes. You can use that as an excuse, right? But let's stop making excuses for these guys now, right? Please. I've stuck up for them left, right, and centre over the season, but it's beyond a joke now, Kate. Right? We had 11 players out on that pitch, right? They didn't give enough. There was only like 2 or 3 of them that were really trying. They were pathetic, and when I say pathetic, I mean pathetic, right? So if they don't come out there today and stand up and be counted, well, they should all be sacked. The whole lot of them, the players, the manager, the lot. They were pathetic on Thursday. I've never ever, I don't think, walked out of this house when Tottenham had been on the telly, but with 20 minutes left, I was so ashamed of them. I went out and walked the dog. It was a joke, right? Sonny has scored against Liverpool at Liverpool in his last 4 games, like in the last 4 seasons. Yeah, he went up there. Where was he? He was nowhere to be seen. He was a ghost. Richie, ghost. Basuma, pathetic. I could go on and on and on. Sick of making excuses for this team, right? They need to start standing up and be counted. You know, people pay a lot of money. We pay a lot of money when we go and watch them. We pay a lot of money to have all these different TV channels to watch them. I would never have these channels if it wasn't for Spurs, right? And people go to these home and away games. They spend a fortune. They're hard-earned money that they go and work for, right? Why these guys are just running around the pitch with their fingers up their asses, right? Getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. You know, the people that go and watch them don't get paid that. You know, most of them are probably on 20, 30 grand a year if they're lucky.
Yeah.
So they better stand up and be counted today. Sick of making excuses for them about injuries, blah, blah, blah. There was 11 players on that pitch the other day that could have given more than what they give, but they wasn't. They was absolutely pathetic. And I'm still sick of making excuses for
them. Look, I couldn't agree more. It's unusual for Jimbo to be the one coming in with fire today. But Brian says, I agree, stop making excuses for the players and must invest more into our academy. But pride and arrogance is at the order of the day. I think that's what upset a lot of Tottenham fans. It's the way that we kind of just gave up. It was like Son was running in for a 50-50 and he just backed away. And you never see Son doing that. It was just, it was awful. Big up, Ellie. What I will say is I don't like to single out players, but I am. I'm going to single out one player. Jose Basuma got a start against Liverpool. I put him in my predicted lineup and I wrote next to it, does he deserve it? And blooming hell, he was rubbish. I mean, what is going on with this guy? Is he just not good enough?
For me, I think that you got 2. You got Basuma and Sarr. I felt that Bentancur was made to look poor because Bentancur was trying to cover a lot of them two's mistakes. Today, I don't know what time the lineup's coming up, but I'm going to make this clear. I've been on shows for the last 2 days, and in the last 2 days, I've said that my midfield today would be Gray, Bergvall, Oluwaseyi, and up front, my forward 3 would be Moore, Tell, and Ajayi. Take the players out. Kulu needs a rest. Son needs a rest. Get the players out that didn't perform the other night and let our youngsters have a go at this game. I don't care if Ange says his job's on the line today or not. At the end of the day, Ange just picked these sides week in, week out. He's picked these players week in and week out. And honestly, throughout the whole season, these players have let him down. Yet they still get selected. Your Bissoumas, your Sars. You know, there's players that keep getting selected. Sonny sometimes, okay, Sonny scores goals. And Sonny's got goals and assists in him. But on the eye test, what has he really done? Richarlison, ball doesn't stick. Now he's got injured. Richarlison, no availability. You know, at the end of the day, you keep picking the same players over and over again. They keep letting you down over and over again. It's time for a change. I mean, I would, even though his job, I think from what we watched in the summer and what we've seen for some of these youngsters, they're fearless, right? And they want to carve out a career. They're just starting out. They want to carve out a career. So these boys, they will play for the badge. They wouldn't turn up to a game of football and just become a rug. You can step all over me or lie down, tread all over me. These kids wouldn't do it. At the end of the day, I would turn around and I would give today these kids a chance. Let them go out, show what we've got. And if you go down and you lose a game of football, and we don't want to lose, and I'll keep repeating, if you don't want to lose a game of football, but if you're going to lose a game of football, at least lose fighting, not what we did Thursday night. And today, I don't know, the players ain't going to listen to anything we got to say, but there are so many times after a game of football that I've thought to myself, you owe the fans one next game. You owe the fan ones next game. But I've said that so many times to myself this season that it's become embarrassing. We need a team to be selected today that will go and fight for the badge. And Bissouma and Sarr, for me, are not fighters. They're both anonymous players, and at the end of the day, I just don't know what they do. And for me, if they weren't at the club next year, i.e., it was time to move them on and bring something new in, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I hear what you're saying, Jose, and I'm not going to disagree with you. But do you think there's any chance that Ange actually does that, like puts in the kids?
No, because what he'll do is he'll pick the players that have let him down all season. He'll pick them again, and then if Ange were to lose his job, sorry, Ange, it's on you, mate. You kept picking these players all the time. They kept letting you down continuously, yet you carried on picking them. So, in order to do something, Sign of Madness is doing the same things that are not working over and over again, and he picks the same players. I think Thursday hits us hard because it was a semi-final. It was a chance we all thought for us. Even though Anfield is a right hard place to go and play, it just feels like, that we had a chance and we've gone there and we just laid down and didn't do nothing. And for me, at the end of the day, if I was a manager, I'd have the steel balls to do it, whether my job was on the line or not. These people keep letting me down. Why should I select them? And don't tell me, we ain't got no one else to select, because we've got a subs bench. So you have got other players you can select, but you choose not to do them. I mean, I don't know what Ange is like behind the scenes and that, but if I'm being mugged off, I'm going to do something about it. Me personally, I'd pick the youngsters. I don't think Ange will. It surprised me. If he did, I'd say to him, you got the biggest CO Jones in the world.
He needs to get a rocket up their arse. That's what he needs to do. He needs to get a rocket up their arse and liven them up and tell them they're wearing this badge, right? This badge means something to the fans. It means something to us. We love this club, right? They should love it as well and want to win for us. So he needs to get a rocket up their arse and get them in gear. They need to pull their finger out, Kate, and start fighting for the club.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I personally think he'd go with Bentancur, Sarr and Bergvall. Not that I'm saying that's who I'd pick. That's just who I think he will choose. I mean, Chang, who do you think he picks as his midfield three?
Yeah, I mean, if I were a betting man, and thankfully I'm not, I'm pretty sure he was going to choose something like Bentancur, Bissouma, Sarr, or maybe a Kulusevski, Sarr and Bergvall, or even a Bentancur, Kulusevski and Bergvall, depending on who came out fitter from that away loss at Anfield. But honestly, Miss Kate, just like what Sino Garcia and even Mr. Boxall have themselves said about this team and the players letting the manager down, letting the fans down, not really, playing for the badge despite on their high wages. I will honestly caution us fans expecting too much from our youngsters, our youth players. Of course, that's not to say that they won't come good for us. It's just that when you do play the youth, and in this case, let's say if we go for a midfield trio of Archie Gray, Kulu, and possibly Bergvall as a midfield three to sort of freshen things up, put some, much required and needed vigor and spirit in that midfield. There's also that downside to it that if we do put out, less tried and proven players, and that if we do lose again and lose big at that away at Villa Park, then all the criticism will be leveled towards Big Ange, because just as what Senor Garcia said, the managers, the ones who choose the players, and if he chooses a lesser team in the eyes of many of us fans, or even the journalists and media too for that matter, then it could almost be seen as a sort of sabotaging or even trying to, hamper our progress in the cups, which I think no manager in his right mind will want to do that. But then there's always that narrative, which is why it's easier for us to, sit here behind the screens, in front of microphones and, in front of fans trying to give our opinions. And my opinion is that regardless of whom takes to the midfield, Miss Kate, I think it's imperative for each and every single one of them to give us a fighting chance. At the very least, give us that little bit of hope going forward into this cup tie. Having said that, I think the only way this midfield of ours is going to cope against Unai Emery's Villa at Villa Park is if we correct the wrongs from Thursday, which is to not deploy a defensive midfield trio, as in do not leave out any of our creative players. Keep Bergvall in there if he did so well against Liverpool in the first leg at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Keep him playing the attacking midfield role. Shift Kulusevski to centre midfield as opposed to sticking him on the right, because that was absolutely where I think it all went wrong for us at Anfield. Put Moore in. Put Mikey Moore. Possibly even give Son a rest if it means stuffing Matthias Stell on the left or on the right. And if Richarlison is working, then we can honestly say to ourselves that maybe it was a bad judgment to take Lancia out and send him out on loan. But other than that, for me, Miss Kate, I will go for a midfield trio of Bergvall, Kulusevski, and Archie Gray to sort of, give us that much needed fight and spirit that was so missing and lacking on Thursday. Having said that, back to you, Miss Kate.
I hear. Yeah, go on.
Let me say, right, he's got nothing to lose, right? He's got nothing to lose by putting some youngsters in, because he's getting beat with a stick now, because he's putting people like Sonny in, right? Look, and I'm not having a pop at Sonny. What have I always said to you? I will forever be grateful for the years that Sonny's give us and some of the pleasure he's give us, right? Sonny, for me, is a legend at Tottenham. But people like Sonny, I mean, I know Rich is injured now, but they're not doing nothing, right? Basuma not doing nothing. So he's got nothing to lose. He can stick them on the pitch and they might go out and play like they did against Liverpool or all the other games that we've lost this season. So put the youngsters in that are hungry, right? If they don't do well, he had a go at it. But if they do well, and then he can't lose or he can't win, whatever way you want to look at it.
Do you not think that there's I hear what everyone's saying about Gray in the midfield, but I personally think Gray looks knackered. I think maybe he needs a rest because he's been playing all different positions. But at the same time, we are down to the bare bones. I know we have got kids that can come in. I mean, the whole letting Lancashire go out on loan, as Chang mentioned, especially after watching that goal that he scored against City, it's a little bit baffling to me. But Ange has taken out Forster, Werner and Dragushin from the Europa League squad and put in Spence, Tell and Danso, which is good. So Werner's gone, thank the Lord. Dragustin's obviously out for the rest of the season, and Forster, yeah, we won't talk about that. But I mean, there's so many players, Jimbo, that look like they need a rest to me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's got nothing to lose, Kate. He can leave players out and put some youngsters in, right? If they do well, all well and good. And if they don't, he's not lost nothing, because the players that he'll take out are not doing it anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, can you get? I can't see Sonny. I can't see Sonny at the minute, right? Running into some form, because he's just so out of form and he looks so tired. What's the point? Stick Mikey Moore on there, who's young and hungry.
We do get that Ange doesn't care what we say, but what should we do there? Just sit here and not talk? This is what the whole point of the show is, to discuss the team and what we would do. None of us are saying we're better than Ange, and none of us are saying that we know what he's going to do. We're just discussing it because that's kind of the point of YouTube. But I don't think a lot of people, if we won 5-0, would want Ange's head. And if we lost 5-0, they'd want Ange's head. I think a lot of people are at that stage. There's a lot of rumours going around. There's been tweets that if he loses today, this will be his last job. I don't know how true it is. Oh, yeah, it was Donnelly yesterday that scored. You're right,
Donnelly, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Donnelly.
I'm glad you told me that, because this is my blondness.
Look, at the minute, right? Postecoglou is damned if he does and damned if he don't, right? And look, I don't care what anybody says. You can't put everything on Ange Postecoglou. You can't, right? It's not Ange Postecoglou giving the ball away in midfield like Basuma did for Liverpool to score their first goal. You can't put that on Ange. It was a pathetic pass.
Yeah.
He had all the time in the world and he didn't look up, and he had loads of players he could pass it to. He just kicked it. You know, you can't put that on Ange. So at the minute, Ange is doomed either way unless we go out there and win.
Yeah.
And that's just the fact.
Yeah, I agree. But it always stops with the manager, doesn't it? Unai Emery is without Pau Torres, Matty Cash, Tyrone Mings, Ollie Watkins has been confirmed as being out as well. However, Rashford could make his debut. Jose, you like me and have got a funny feeling that Rashford's going to have an absolute worldie today.
No. I think if they bought in Asensio, if they bought in Rashford, if they bought in Donny Malin, if they bought in Disasi, whatever his name is, if they bought all these players in, none of them have played together. They don't know their patterns of play and that. And a lot of them players are not really match fit because they've not been playing for their sides. Disaster wasn't in the Chelsea team all the time. Asensio hasn't been at PSG in the team. Donny Malin has probably had game time at Dortmund, but then he hasn't had much game time since he's gone to Villa. And Rashford has definitely hardly kicked the ball since Amarin's been there. So, you know, they've got to get up to match speed, and they've got to learn the patterns of plays of their players. Now, will it happen? Normally we say, yeah, players are professionals. They should know how to play in any system, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know why, for some reason, football nowadays, it's like passing ships in the night. Whoever you select, it's as if they haven't played together ever. I think that Villa have lost their front line, haven't they? They've sold one and one's injured. So it'd be interesting to see what side Villa pick out. This is a pump-up show. I mean, this is a pump-up show, and we are here to pump up the people. We've pumped up the people on every show so far this season, and even though we keep pumping up and we keep returning and pumping up, we keep getting beaten. And at the end of the day, I think Friday's rubbed badly with everybody, and today is just a harder pump-up show than usual. Now, at the end of the day, I'll turn around and say we've got an excellent record at Aston Villa. You know, we haven't got a really, really good record at Aston Villa. So it doesn't matter. Whatever teams were selected in the past, Tottenham have had the rub of the green at Villa Park. When we played Villa at Tottenham Hotspur, they've had the rub of the green over us at our gaff. But we've had the rub of the green over at their gaff. So, you know, today, all I'm hoping is that today, regardless of who Villa have got in their side, I'm just hoping that we put in a performance. The performance can be a win, can be a draw, can be a loss. But just to show, Chan's wearing the kit now, just to show the badge that he's got on that kit, that people are playing for that kit and that badge. That's all we want. But, you know, as I said, at the end of the day, Kate, you've asked me about Rashford. Nah, Villa can pick whoever they want to pick. I'm not sure whether they're all going to be match ready. So,
yeah. Well, the lineup has just come out. We've got Kinski in goal, Pedro Porro, Danso, Gray, and Spence. So Gray's playing as a centre back. Well, we'll get on to that in a minute. It's left me a little bit speechless. Then we've got Bergvall, Bentancur, and Kulu in the middle, and then Moore, Tell, and Sonny. On the bench, we've got Austin, Forster, Davis, Reguilon, Hardy, Casanova, Basuma Sarr, and Ajayi. Jim, I think you're muted. I've got to go to someone. I don't know who wants to take this question.
Right, for me, there's no shot that Sarr and Basuma are not in the team. That is absolutely no shot to me whatsoever.
Normally, but the back four is a shock.
Gray is playing instead of the only difference there is that Gray's playing instead of Davis. So I don't know whether they're managing Davis's minutes. I don't know whether Davis might have taken a knock towards the end of the game against Liverpool. But the only change in that defence is that you've got Gray for Davis. And Pedro Porro starts where he didn't start the other night.
I mean, Jimbo, first thoughts on that back four. What do you think? Because for me, that looks worrying.
Well, it's after what I expected, Kate. I mean, he's done well there, Gray. He's not done bad there. So it's half what I expected. Porro and Spence.
But Davis is far more suited in that position, I would have thought. I mean,
say it again.
I would have thought Davis is far better suited in that position. Plus, you've got the experience of Davis then. You've got, I mean, Spence, Gray, they're both young kids. Danso's young and he's only just signed. I just find it a bit strange. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit baffled.
Well, I'm not. It's after what I expected, Kate. Honestly, I would have said that complete back four. I would have said it would be Gray or Davis. That's what I would.
I mean, someone's put. Yeah, I mean, I don't rate Gray as a centre back either. And someone's put Davis is trash. He's been one of our best defenders this season. That's a ridiculous statement. He did get hurt, but he's on the bench. So. I mean, Chang, what do you think? Is it me? But I'm literally a little bit speechless.
Sorry, before Chang talks, let me just tell you, Villa have got Martinez in goal. They've got Garcia, Konza, Kamara, and Digna as their back four. In midfield, they've got Tielemans, McGinn, and Ramsey, and their front three are Rodgers, Bailey, and Marlon.
Okay.
So no Rashford, no Asensio, no Disaster. All the players that they bought, the only player that they're playing is Donny Marlon.
Right. Chang, what's your thoughts on the lineup?
That is a very strong lineup, Miss Kate. And I think I did mention earlier that I wanted to see a midfield trio of Archie Gray, Kulu, and Bergvall. Well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad at all. And that centre-back pairing of Danso and Archie Gray was what I was screaming for on Thursday before I came on for the pre-match pump-up with all 3 of you. And I mean, no disrespect to Ben Davies, he has been one of our better performers. He definitely has the experience and the know-how. But I thought for him to try and to try and nullify that Liverpool attack by himself with newcomer Danso might have been a bit too much to ask of him, given his age. And we all know he's not the tallest, this centre back, neither is he the fastest. So this, I think, should be the balance that we so needed in midfield and in defense. And hopefully another one of the starters, which I predicted earlier, or rather I hope to see starting, which was Mikey Moore. I'm assuming he's going to be playing on the left and not the right, given that lineup, or rather the order of the players. And it could very well be Kulusevski in attacking midfield and not Bergvall. But I mean, we never know with all these lineups. But that is a very, very good starting 11, Miss Kate. But, and this is where I think we should draw the comparisons from. If you look at that bench, I don't think there's anyone on that bench that we can honestly say to ourselves that we can rely on so and so to come on at halftime away at Villa Park to be the difference maker if we do find ourselves behind again going into halftime. But if we are to get anything from the game has to be won in the first half. I cannot stress and highlight this enough. The game has to be won in the first half. In the second half, we have to try to park the bus and just afford some rest for both Son, Kulu, and maybe even some of those other players who have been just playing on empty. They have been running on fumes for the most part of this calendar year. But yeah, absolutely looking forward to a match now. Now that I've seen the starting 11, that is, I think, possibly the strongest 11, as well as a mixture of youth and young blood. So let's get behind the lads, get behind the team. Come on, you Spurs, and back to you, Miss Kate.
Thank you.
Sorry, can I just take the question from Hamdan that he said towards you, Kate? He said you were ignoring him. Hamdan, I'm going to answer the question for you, right? Yes, Mikey Moore is right-footed, predominantly right-footed. He's two-footed, but stronger foot on the right. However, like the modern-day footballer at the moment, these players prefer to play inverted. So Moore prefers to play on the left-hand side, and most of his game time for the first team and for the youngsters has been coming from the left, where he can go both ways, either down the left or he cuts into his right. He seems to be less effective on the right-hand side because he doesn't cut into his left so much. So although he's predominantly right-footed, he prefers to play on the left-hand side. That's just to answer Hamdan's question, because you said we were ignoring him.
I didn't see it. I'm still quite a way out.
Just let me say, for the bloke that said that the lady doesn't have a clue, this lady gets invited on all the biggest shows, all the biggest Spurs shows on the internet, and there's a reason for that. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's not about not having a clue. It's about the fact that my opinion is, much like this comment, I think I would rather have our strongest team out today than against Man United. So I would have rather Davis played today because it's a cup game. And it doesn't mean I haven't got a clue. It's an opinion. I listen to every opinion in the chat. I don't be rude to anyone. So it's my opinion. So, yeah, if you don't like it, it's fine. And I wasn't ignoring your comments, Hamdan. I've just seen it. I was miles behind in the chat. But big up, Nick, Lazy Eights here. Yeah, Davis has been playing really well. I just think that back four looks really open. And all I can say, thank the Lord that Ollie Watkins is out. In my opinion. So that's all I'll say. But Rashford is on the bench for Aston Villa, along with Asensio. But you've got to say, that's the Villa lineup. You've got to say, obviously McGinn is probably one of the best players that I can see on there. Jimbo, anyone there that jumps out at you that you're a little bit worried about? And Bailey, maybe?
No, I don't worry about any team play, Kate. If we turn up, right, even with the team we've got out there, we give anyone a game. So I never worry about playing anyone in the league. It's if our players turn up or not. And they never turn up against Liverpool. So I'm expecting them to come there today and really give a serious performance and give us a real proper performance and show them that they do care about the badge and they care about us fans that love the club.
Apparently Marlon is rapid. I'm not going to lie, I haven't really watched him, so I can't comment. But Jose, have you seen him play? Is he quick?
Yeah, Marlon played for Dortmund. Yeah, he is quick, Marlon, but he's a very frustrating player. That could be said by lots of players, though. Whereby he's finishing sometimes. He's either going to score you a worldie or he's going to hit one 30 yards wide towards the corner flag. And his speed, he has got speed, but he's gone to a new team. He's having to learn to play with them and that. Marlon's a decent player, but, he's not a player that scares me. And at the end of the day, I'm with Jim, right? And I've always said this. Stop worrying about other teams and just worry about yourself. If Tottenham turn up and do what Tottenham should do, then you don't need to worry about other teams. It's just that we're not turning up and doing what we should do, or we did on Thursday. Yeah. But we're now hoping that this team will turn up and do what it should do today. the other thing to note is we've got 9 subs. Villa have only got 7 named on their bench.
Yeah, I did notice that. I did notice that.
The two of them on our bench, I'm quite surprised that Oluwasi isn't on the bench. I knew Scarlett was cut tied, so he wasn't going to get picked. But we've picked 2 goalkeepers again. And yeah, I don't know why we keep picking 2 goalkeepers. We could have given that berth to another player just in case they were needed today.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll never know. Can I just say there is 716 watching, only 94 likes. And I'm getting some grief from Paul, who says, so what, her knowledge is poor regarding Davis. He had an injury and not only needs a rest, but lacks pace against his Villa team. So it makes complete sense to play Gray, in your opinion. And that's fine. My opinion is I would have rather seen Davis there. So there's no need to be rude. You could just say, I respectfully disagree. There's no need to be an arsehole about it at all. But moving swiftly on, Tell looks like he's playing a centre forward, Tell. Are you excited to see what he can do in the middle? Obviously, he looked all right when he came on against Liverpool, but the game was lost by then.
Yeah, what I like, if we're going to play a 4-3-3, me personally, what I'd like is people, the teams that play 4-3-3, I'd like them to take a leaf out of the Liverpool Klopp era when he had Salah, Firmino, and Mane. We're all 3 of them. All 3 of them would interchange across the line. Do you see what I mean? They could play across the line. And for me, I think we've got players that Intel and more. We've definitely got players that don't have to stick to their stuck positions. They can move across and they can interchange. And sometimes I think if you're static and you just stay on the left-hand side, or you stay down the middle, or you stay on the right, you become easier to mark. However, if you move around, then you have to get people thinking. And defenders have to pass. They pass the players along to each other, but it means that they're on their toes. You have to keep thinking. You're making them think all the time that you're moving. The three that we've got there, and I'm going to include Sonny because I don't want to beat on Sonny. I'm going to say that we've got a fluid top 3 up there that could interchange. Equally, any of them can play on the left, any of them can play on the right, and any of them can play down the middle. So if it's not working, change it. But yeah, we've got a fluid 3, but I'd like them to interchange in that. That's
probably the most exciting thing about this team lineup for me. I think the front 3 is really interesting. Obviously, Sonny, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you would say he's probably the weakest out of the 3 at this moment in time. But we all know what he's got in his locker. But Chang, how excited are you?
Sonny,
oh, go on, Jimbo, sorry.
That's the thing with Sonny, right? He might have 2 or 3 bad games, but then he can come on and turn it on. You know, that's the only thing about Sonny is he could come on there and have a worldie today. So, I mean, that's why I think he sticks with him.
Yeah. Just before I come to you, Chang, Liverpool are 1 minute plus extra time away from going out of the FA Cup, which would be quite an achievement considering they got to the final of the Carabao Cup this week. If they get knocked out of the FA Cup, that would be quite remarkable. But Mr. Chang, what about you? That front 3, you looking forward to seeing how they play together?
Of course. And for me, Matthias Tell starting was what I was hoping for, although that didn't come true on Thursday. But now that he's got some minutes on Thursday and he's given a start, let's hope he makes the most of this opportunity. Hope his renewed vigor and enthusiasm rubs off on both Son and Mikey Moore. I really do hope. I'm actually expecting a lot of big things from him if he is to be our big signing from the January transfer window to hopefully turn our fortunes around. And but of course, then again, there is also that other side to tempering expectations, not putting too much pressure and all our hopes onto one new signing. He still needs time to get to grips with Ange Ball and his new teammates, but I think that is this is the bare minimum he could ask for after having signed on the dotted line less than a week ago. And I really do hope to see not just him, but Denso as well, our other new winter signing, to prove us why he is the preferred centre back, rather than the likes of, say, Fikayo Tomori, who turned us down. So that front three. I mean, I wouldn't say that Son is the weakest, because as what Mr. Boxer mentioned earlier, he has proven to us, not just in seasons past, but even before he joined Spurs, that he can just turn up and strut his stuff. And I really do hope that Sonny draws upon his hat trick heroics for us in the league in Kane's final season with us, before Big Ange took over. This is the one game I really want Son to just continue from where he left off from the previous season. And I mean, we have to bank on that trio, because I mentioned earlier, before we went to the Villa lineup, that we have to win this game. The game has to be wrapped up in the first half, and the only way I can see that happening is if we score a few, hopefully more than a single goal, to carry on into that first half. And that front three, seeing Moore and Tel start, gives me hope that that will be the case, because we don't have anyone else, honestly, to call upon from the bench to come on. Not even, is Richarlison even in the subs bench? I don't think I saw Richarlison.
He's injured. He got injured against Liverpool.
Yeah, so that's another one for us. So that is the strongest possible front trio that we can call upon, and let's just hope, Miss Kate, for all our sakes, that we're already leading by halftime, because otherwise it is going to be a very, very long Sunday evening. Having said that, back to you, Mr.
Kate, my leg. I keep trying to kick the ball for Plymouth. Oh my God, the keeper just done a fantastic save. Oh my God, I'm switching here, trying to defend with them.
Reach says, I understand your perspective, Kate, but I think Davis suits when we play a low block like we did against Brentford and Liverpool. But after the press conference, I think Andy's going to play a high line, which suits Gray. Well, that's what I mean. See, disrespectful, and I understand that. And maybe you're right, and I hope you are right. Chang, what's the matter?
No, there's no matter. I just saw the amount of minutes for extra time. There's 9 minutes. 9 minutes of extra time between Plymouth Argyle and Liverpool, and we are now heading into the 4th minute of injury time in the second half. So 5 more minutes for Plymouth Argyle to hang on into for what would be the biggest scalp of the season, getting one over the current league leaders. That will be something for them to boast about for many a season to come. Sorry, back to you, Miss Kate.
They had a chance to go 2-0 up as well.
He's cup tied, Dane Scarlett. Ange did say in his press conference, I believe. Baz BB Live says, time to show fight, determination, team spirit, game management and courage. Come on, the young ones. Exactly that. Look, what I will say is I'm going to give my score prediction first, because I'm going to be the negative one today, because I'm predicting a 2-1 loss. I'm afraid, which I hate to do on a pump-up show, guys, and I am sorry, but that's just how I feel today. But like I always say, I hope I'm wrong, and I will happily put my hands up and say I'm wrong if we win. But Jose, how do you see this one going?
I'm going to go for, right, I still support my team through thick and thin, and I'm actually going to go for us to beat Villa 2-0 today. I'm not going. I'm going for the clean sheet. I'm going all out. I'm going. If these players owe us something, they do owe us something. And for me, owing us something is they owe us a pure 90 minutes of making up for what happened on Thursday night against Liverpool. I love my clean sheets. Always have done. I'm looking for a clean sheet today and a 2-0 win. For goal scorers, I really don't care who scores as long as we win the game and we go through to the next round. But if you want me to throw goal scoring, I'm going to throw Bergvall in there, and I'm going to throw Matthias Tell.
Love it.
2-0 to Tottenham.
2-0 would be amazing. Mario says Spurs 3-1. Make sure you put your predictions in and goal scorers, please, guys. Mick Pretty says 3-1. Meme Hook says Tell scores first and Spurs lose 2 or 3-1. Oh, All the rest says 2-2, but Villa beat us on pens. Oh, don't. I can't cope with penalties. 3-1 Villa, says Jimmy Hotspur. 4-2 Spurs. I say 9-3 to Spurs. Please let that be the scoreline. What a scoreline that'd be. Skunkworks says 2-1 to Villa. I'll take a beating if it means we sack hand. I can't ever want my team to lose, no matter what. Even when it was the whole Man City Arsenal thing, I still wanted us to beat City. I can't help it. Fiona, big up to you, says 2-1 to Villa, same scoreline as me. 3-2 Spurs, says Destiny 5. 2-1 to us, says Lazy A. El Duderino, love that name, says 3-0 Spurs. Ed says Spurs will win 2-1 and Gray will score the winner. Yes, I hope you're right. Go on, Gray. I love Gray. I'd love to see him score a win. I just think he maybe needs a rest, but big up to Gray. 2-1 Spurs, Son to come off the bench and score. Well, he's starting, so unless he goes for a sit down and then comes back on, I don't know how that'll work. 4-2 to us, says Hakeem. Big up Bobby K, says 3-1 to Spurs. Mr. Chang, what do you see happening in this game?
I expect us to give it a good go. I expect us to come out winners in this fifth round encounter of the FA Cup. But honestly, I think it could go either way. I have a sneaky feeling it's going to be 1 apiece at the hour mark, and the next goal after the hour mark wins the game. But at this, I have a sneaky feeling it will be a 2-1 either to the home side or the away side, because 2-1 has been the the way to go about this weekend, seeing as how Brighton beat Chelsea by the same scoreline. City scraped past Leyton Orient. I believe Fulham won by that very same scoreline as well, a 2-1. So I'm hoping that the 2-1 favors us, much like it did for Fulham away at Wigan Athletic, and for City away at Leyton Orient. I am going to be sticking to my 2-1 prediction, Miss Kate, from our Friday noon show over on the Perfect Match. I'm still expecting Son to pick up at least 1 goal this game. Hopefully this is the game that we will see Matthias Tel open his account for us in Lily White. Really can't wait for the game to get underway. Although, if things don't go according to plan, I might call it quits by 2 a.m. by halftime, so that I can get to work 3 hours later at 5, so that we can reconvene again with Mr. Boxell over on the Perfect Match at noon in exactly, let's see now, it's going to be exactly
Plymouth have knocked out Liverpool.
19 hours from now, yeah. So
massive congratulations to Plymouth Argyle, who've just knocked Liverpool out of the FA Cup.
I tell you what, right? With about 30 seconds to go, their keeper done an absolute fantastic save.
I know. I think we should be buying their keeper by all accounts, because all I can see is everyone's saying what an absolute world he's had. So
it just goes to show teams that don't take the FA Cup seriously. As I said, if you look at the games from yesterday against League One opposition, Man City made some changes, Newcastle made some changes, Liverpool have made the most changes, and against the Championship side, and they've now gone out 1-0. Today, we haven't made any changes, and we're playing a Premiership team.
Yeah, exactly. Jimbo, I'm going to come to you finally to get your score prediction and also who's going to score the goals for this game against Villa.
And Notorious is probably right there. We probably will get Plymouth in the next round. I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs. I really, really, in my heart, think that these boys have come out and they've put on a good performance today, right? They can't keep coming out game after game and not playing for the badge. So today is the day I think they come out and put on a performance. So I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right. You and Jose are both sort of saying that they need to come out and give something back to the fans, and let's hope that's exactly what they do. 3-2, we will be cooked. Lots of different predictions. Liverpool's quadruple dream ended by shock FA Cup defeat. This is why we love the FA Cup. But there we go. Thank you to everyone who's watched. That's thrown me off. I wasn't expecting that. 748 still in, 150 likes. So if we can get that up to 200, it'd be amazing. Mr. Chang,
can I just say, Kate? Can I just say this is what I said? People would say Plymouth doing what Spurs couldn't, but they had all their kids out there. It's a bit different.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Destiny 5. Anything happening with you, Chang? Any streams you want to post out before we finish?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that we are going to be reconvening in about I stand corrected. Yeah, it is 19 hours from now at noon tomorrow. We'll be hopefully have something positive to talk about in the post FA Cup weekend over on the Perfect Match. And beyond that, I think I have nothing else for the whole week. I am really looking forward to get much needed rest after today and tomorrow's show at noon. Hopefully, when we do reconvene again for another pre-match pump up in a week's time for the home league game against United, I would be fully rested, much like Son and Kulu, and I will be able to be more lively, more energetic, and maybe a bit more verbose and verbal. But other than that, let's fully get behind the lads, fully get behind the players, and regardless of who is still in charge of us come next week against United, we have to get behind the team because we still have a lot to play for, Miss Kate. Starting from today, starting from this FA Cup, let's give it a good go. Let's end our season on a high. Come on, you Spurs. Back to you, Miss Kate.
What I will say, next weekend is there's a huge protest going on. So if anyone is interested, there's a Change for Tottenham. I've tweeted out about it, so I will mention it and put it out there because I know there's a lot of YouTubers are getting involved. Ricky Sacks, Crackers, a few others. But yeah, Destiny, I'm with you. Bring my man Poch home. Jose, our very own Pochettino, Mr. Jose. What's coming up on El Tel Cockerel?
I've got a predictions results show. I did a bumper bonanza this week with 20 games from 20 different countries. It sprung up a lot of fun on Friday when I did it because there was teams that people thought I was winding people up. The teams I selected, we had we had a team called the Dandy Town Hornets against Hamilton Parish. It was a match from Bermuda that we were predicting, so we had some fun on Friday. So the results for that will be tomorrow. There's a few in the chat that actually do partake in the predictions. So yeah, the results will be tomorrow. Then I'm away with work, so I probably won't be doing anything after tomorrow till the end of the week. But thank you very much to Ben and Sim for having us all again to help them out with doing these pump-up shows. And a big thank you goes out to everybody in the chat. At the end of the day, today was a hard one, people, and I'm not going to lie, it was a hard one for the four of us. And it's a hard one for you guys as well, because we all support the club. But we've managed to get through it, and you've got at least two of us that have gone for a positive victory.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have Jimbo. Me and you are back tomorrow at
What did Chang
midday.
Predict,
Chang predicted 2-1 to Tottenham. Right. Tottenham. It's only me that predicted a lot.
Sorry, three. You got three people. I stand corrected. 3 people have managed to pump us up. So and that's no slight on the fourth. It's just that it's a hard show to do after what happened on Thursday. So therefore, at the end of the day, thanks for sticking with us, guys.
Hey, can you answer a question?
Yeah.
Someone in the chat asked, has Kate ever predicted a win?
Yeah, loads of times. I predicted we'd draw against Liverpool but go through. But I do. But I'm not one of these people. When Ben and Sim asked me to do this, I said I'll happily do it. But do I need to lie and say we're going to win if I think we're going to lose? And they were like, no, you say what you think. And I think we'll lose. And I'm not going to lie. That's just me. But I will predict us to win. I think we'll beat Man United, for instance. Next week. There's a little teaser for the next pump-up show. But I just think Villa will have too much for us tonight. But there is a little bit of reverse psychology in there, but don't tell the football gods. But yes, there's the lineup. Someone did ask. Jimbo and I will be back at noon tomorrow for the recap show, along with Chang and Nick Emerson Royale, whatever his name is this week. Thanks to everyone for watching. Yeah, this is true. I hate being right. I'd much rather be wrong. But thank you to all for watching. Smash a like on the way out. Stay tuned because Sim and Simon are doing the watch along because Ben has gone to the game. Enjoy it. Cheer the lads on. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.